the living shit out of the Indiana Fever. So Indiana Fever, and it's been my belief that they will freaking fire everyone. And I do believe this. So if you're a Fever fan and you're hoping they'll keep Caitlin Clark, it's my belief that when push comes to shove, there's no way they can let her get away. They will fire everybody and start over. That's my belief. I cannot imagine the level of fumbling the bag that would have to be done.
When Gatorade attempts to ride the Caitlin Clark wave, but fails to recognize the person paddling, what do you get? An exaggerated PR catastrophe with additional electrolytes. The WNBA believed they were guaranteed a win. As it happens, it was more of an airball that turned into a dump fire. And listen to what the fans have to say. Perhaps Fever management may like to participate in this survey. As if it were pocket change, Caitlin just earned $660,000. Get some popcorn. It's juicy.
Caitlin Clark meant to the WNBA.
Everything. She's changed the dynamic and history forever for women.
I see a lot of young girls here today, and I see how inspired they are, and she's even gotten me back into basketball.
I think she has brought attention. She did it for us. We had never watched, and we have become big fans.
I don't think her contributions have been extreme as what people think they are. I think the league in itself has been getting better, and that's really what we should be focusing on.
I think she's brought a lot of attention to the WNBA, and it's needed.
I think it's great. I actually grew up watching the WNBA, so it's really exciting to see a resurgence.
She meant everything. I never watched it before.
When Gatorade attempts to ride the Caitlin Clark wave, but fails to recognize the person paddling, what do you get? An exaggerated PR catastrophe with additional electrolytes. The WNBA believed they were guaranteed a win. As it happens, it was more of an airball that turned into a dump fire. And listen to what the fans have to say. Perhaps Fever management may like to participate in this survey. As if it were pocket change, Caitlin just earned
Example, and there's enough votes here. This is a good test to see how bad this would be. Swag put this out, and it's starting to make the rounds. I voted. Okay, Fever fans, answer this. If Caitlin leaves Fever, would you still support the Fever? We got 1,145 votes here. Nope, my bags are packed is far and away leading.
Nor are they casual admirers. These are diehards who have been baptized, converted, and completely assimilated into the Caitlin Church. Zip codes and team colors are irrelevant to them. Caitlin is the emblem. Her uniform isn't her jersey. It's a GPS. They follow her wherever she goes. The loyalty is to her, not to Indiana. Love and appreciate the rest of the roster.
All for letting her cook. Eat dinner.
I'm buying Powerade stock.
Is it a play on, like, women shouldn't? No, they didn't do it on purpose. There's no way. How you came up with this and not in the back of your minds, like, oh, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's women. She just needs to cook. Didn't think about that in the PR room. I'm a big advocate of
However, there is no question when the lights go out and you have to decide between a brand and the phenomenon that initially captivated you. Double C or bust is the outcome. Fans of the Fever are panicking because it's beginning to resemble a bust, not because Caitlin isn't doing well. She's doing precisely what she was drafted to do. Oh no. Draw crowds, garner publicity, fill venues, and, of course, assist in transforming this awful club into something that resembles professional basketball. The issue is that her coach may be the only person who hasn't.
Listen, NBA players make 50% of revenues. WNBA players make 9%. And now the merch sales are up 500% and attendance is up, 40%. So they're going to get a raise. There's no question. And I don't really care that the previous 25 years they didn't make a lot of money or lost money. I don't care. They're in the middle of a negotiation and they're on a heater. So it doesn't really matter. I've said this before. I made an investment for 5 years and it lost money, and I got about 6 months left in the investment, and in the last 6 months they started making cash, I'm not bailing on the investment. I want to finally get my money back. So they're going to get a raise. They're finally turning a corner. But and negotiating in any business is all about current momentum. It's not about 12 years ago. It's about current momentum.
Because the strategy seems more like maybe next quarter, then empower your superstar. This spoiler alert is amusing since they are losing and losing ugly, not winning. However, the same pattern appears when the post-game talk period comes. If a player falls from a boat, she won't be able to hit water. It's 2 for 14. And the coaches reply, "Honey, keep shooting." They will eventually fall. In a pinch, Caitlin takes one contested three. Lecture in a flash. It's more than just unclear. That is performance art on the edge.
Caitlin Clark is a media driver. She is a ratings driver. I think about the NBA post Magic and Larry, the NBA post Michael Jordan, tennis post Serena Williams, golf post Tiger Woods, right? There are certain athletes that drive the sport more than others. And that's not to take away from anyone else drafted tonight. That's not to take away from the other incredible superstars in the WNBA right now.
The fans aren't showing any emotion. They're being practical. They owe nothing to the fever. Thanks to Caitlin, they gave the team a chance. Caitlin was the reason they stayed. They'll depart as, well, if the current crap continues, Caitlin might decide not to stay. Perhaps you should no longer regard her like a supporting role in someone else's story, because it's more than simply a trade if she walks. This event is at the level of extinction. Furthermore, it won't be a fever dream this time. It will be a complete nightmare. Stephanie White's coaching style seems to be more about micromanaging her into insignificance than it is about developing your superstar. It's no longer even subtext at this point. Every press conference has a flickering, barely coded Morse code. I never chose Caitlin Clark. She may have grinned for the cameras and discussed changing the systems, but now that the season is underway, it seems like
T-shirts don't bother me, but why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself.
Here's the worst part, though. Caitlin Clark was never meant to be in the back seat. She is not an add-on to some antiquated strategy that is kept afloat by vibes and gum. She's the reason the automobile began in the first place, as well as the GPS, Spotify playlist, and engine. Nevertheless, you can almost see Stephanie White making calculated U-turns and emotional speed bumps in each game, as if she were directing traffic rather than launching an offensive. It's crazy since the small differences in play style are no longer the main focus. This feels intimate, similar to the vibe you give someone who is dropped off at your house by corporate, and then you have to grin while hosting the dinner party. Even though the dinner guest is preparing 5-star meals and covering the rent, they are nonetheless urged to unwind and pass the salt in this instance. Let's refer to it as resistance. It seemed as though Stephanie White was gritting her teeth during the Caitlin Clark era from the beginning, despite all the lofty rhetoric about embracing her game, vapor. Rather, we have game plans that show Clark parked in a corner while teammates with the all-clear hurl bricks, as if they were constructing an Olive Garden with a WNBA motif. Breadsticks that never stop, no buckets. Nevertheless, there is stillness during referee turmoil, when Clark tries to squeeze out 15 assists, 23 points, and some viral highlights while dumping elbows. No acknowledgement, no festivity. Just another tense post-match lecture about letting the game unfold or spacing.
3. I'm going to pass on that question, actually. WNBA star Caitlin Clark is transforming women's sports. She fills arenas night after night, and her games have smashed TV viewership records. And if you watch Clark play, well, it's not hard to figure out why. She makes deep three-pointers look easy. And like all stars, wants the ball when the game is on the line.
It's always shouting, recalculate, give her time to cook, turn around. Every state, time zone, and income group has a fan of Caitlin. People who still believe that the WNBA is played on a 9 FFT rim include middle schools, 80-year-old basketball legends, casuals, diehards, and even certain individuals. She is more than a mere athlete. She is a revolution and a brand. The WNBA is own golden goose, producing media engagement eggs more quickly than the league can make money off of them. She would be live broadcasting her morning stretches while sporting a camera on her head if the marketing team had its way. However, given her occasional usage on the court, you would guess she was a second-round bench warmer. And we're all expected to act as though that's the norm. Would you please?